You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Today's podcast is brought to you by OSV Kids, a magazine designed to help children grow in their faith throughout the liturgical year. To find out more, head to osvkids.com. Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Monday, March 1st, 2021. It is also the feast day of St. David of Wales. This week on the Catholic Sprouts podcast, we are going to reinvest in our Lenten intentions. Now, as you likely know, Lent started about a week and a half ago, and I hope that you have been really engaged in this season. But chances are, if you're like me or if you're normal, you've gotten to the point where getting into Lent isn't quite as exciting as it was at the beginning, and maybe you've fallen away from some of your ideas about Lent, about fasting and almsgiving and praying in Lent, or you've gotten a little bit lazy. And so this week we're going to remind ourselves why we're doing all of these things in Lent, and we're going to look to the saints that are celebrating feast days each day this week for powerful examples of how really devoting ourselves to prayer, almsgiving, and fasting can achieve the ultimate goal of Lent. So that is where we need to start. What is the ultimate goal of Lent? Why do we give up certain foods? Why do we give away our money? And why do we reinvest in prayer? Well, we do all of these things for one simple reason. And that reason is this: so that at the end of Lent, we are more like Jesus Christ. That is really the only reason why we do all of these, sometimes even unpleasant things. Now, I'm going to tell you, no one enjoys being hungry. We might feel good after we give money to the poor, but no one really looks forward to doing that. These are uncomfortable and hard things to do. And yet we know that doing them will help us leave behind our own selfish lives. They'll help us look beyond who we are, love others better, and by doing that, be more like Jesus Christ. Now, oftentimes people get into Lent with good things they're doing, whether they're fasting or praying, but they don't really have that concept in mind. Lent is not about losing weight. It's not even about doing something hard or becoming tougher. Lent is simply about becoming more like Jesus Christ. Now, luckily, as Catholics, there are many people that have gone before us that have done these hard things, devoted themselves to fasting, prayer, and almsgiving, and became so like Jesus Christ that after they died, we saw miracles that proved that they were in heaven with Jesus. And these people are, of course, saints. So each day this week, we'll be talking about the saint that is celebrating a feast day that day. And through their biography, we will understand the power of one of these Lenten practices, either prayer, fasting, or almsgiving. So today we are celebrating a saint from Wales. Now, Wales is a small part of Great Britain or England, which is an island nation in Europe. So he lived in the 500s, a long time ago. When he was very young, he became a priest, but he joined an order of monks where they devoted themselves to lots of hard manual labor, meaning that they worked very hard, planting, moving stones, building their homes. He also devoted himself to taking care of the lepers. But the thing that his order was really known for was that they denied themselves almost every good kind of food. In fact, over his whole life, the only things that he ate were bread, vegetables, and water. So think about all the things that you consumed, even today or yesterday, all the things that you consumed that weren't bread, vegetables, or water. If you drank milk or pop or had cereal or ate any meat or cheese or anything like that, he never ate those things. So let's think about this. He devoted his whole life to living this way, not just Lent. Why would a person fast like this all the time? Well, here is why. God created us so that everything that our body does should be a calling back to God. So think about hunger. Now, of course, we have sort of two parts of who we are. We have our body, our physical body that we can touch and experience the world through. But we also have our soul, which is the eternal part of who we are that will endure after our bodies die. So if we think about this, we need to be feeding both our bodies and our souls. But because we live in a world where there's so many good things to eat, oftentimes we just focus on feeding our bodies and we forget to feed our souls. God created us in such a way that when we feel a physical hunger, we should be reminded of not only our needs of our body, but also the needs of our spirits. So as a monk, when they decided to fast and they felt this continual hunger, if you imagine you're only eating bread, vegetables, and water, you're pretty much hungry all the time. You're never feeling full and satisfied. And it's a reminder that you never are feeling full and satisfied in your soul either until you reach heaven to be with God, where you will be fully satisfied. So that is an explanation for why we fast and why people like St. David of Wales chose to fast for his whole life. And so, Sprouts, today I want you to remember something, that just because you decided to fast in some way at the beginning of Lent, if it was a good decision and it's really, again, helping you become more like Christ, wonderful, keep doing it. But if hearing this has made you realize, oh, wow, giving up Starbursts, one particular kind of candy for Lent, isn't that hard, or it's not really making me become more like Christ, you can change your mind and do something different right now. There's still plenty of Lent left. In fact, we have a full month. There's plenty of time to really offer yourself to God so that He can transform you into a person that is more like Christ. So that is your challenge, Sprouts. Evaluate what you have decided to fast during Lent. Either recommit yourself to that decision or make a different decision today. That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God created you to be. Just one more thing. I hope that you are having a blessed and holy Lent. Please be assured of our prayers for you and your family, as we all work very hard to become more like Jesus Christ.